Come in, nerds! Netflix just released the official trailer for Stranger Things Season 4, and it's beginning to look a lot like summer now. For 3 seasons, our favorite geeks fought off some pretty horrifying things from the Upside Down, from demon dogs to the Mind Flayer. Now, after what seems like forever, we're finally getting Season 4. Between references to past events and exciting follow-ups, it's possible you may have missed out on some clever little details in the trailer. Let's take a closer look. First up, goodbye middle school, hello high school. The Dungeons & Dragons playing kids aren't kids anymore. One look at the Stranger Things 4 trailer and you'll notice how Eleven and the rest of the gang seem older, much older. The little kids from Season 1 have literally grown up with the show, but it looks like they've grown up just a bit too much in between the Season 3 finale and Season 4 premiere. Last we saw the cast, they were in their early teens, fighting the Mind Flayer and all. But that was almost 3 years ago at this point. Understandably so, our adolescent heroes went from being kids to, well, young adults. Naturally, the showrunners could not keep them in middle school for long. That would be totally unbelievable. More than the Upside Down, Demogorgons, and the Mind Flayer combined. And so you can see the gang out of Hawkins Middle School and into the shackles of high school in the newest trailer. While Will and Elle try to adjust to their new life in Lenora Hills High School, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Max are back in good old Hawkins, kicking off their high school freshman year. But not all of them have adjusted to this change well. Without Mike and the rest of her gang, Eleven is back to being a social outcast. By the looks of the trailer, she doesn't seem to have many friends. You can tell from the little snippet where she's walking through the school halls and the other students barely acknowledge her. But thankfully, she has Will by her side and the two seem pretty tight. Guess near-death experiences are great for bonding, if you survive them. Speaking of high school life, it seems Lucas has moved on from board games in the basement and on to shooting hoops in the court as a part of the Hawkins basketball team. Elle is going to be fighting the terrors of high school socialization along with the terrors of the Upside Down in the upcoming season. Next, mission: rescue Hopper from the Russians. Stranger Things Season 4 just wouldn't be the same without our favorite law enforcement officer, aka Chief Hopper. For a minute, they had us all fooled into ugly crying for him at the end of Season 3, but boy, are we happy to have him back on screen. But he's not out of the woods just yet. Jim Hopper might be alive, but he is far from well. For starters, he's continents apart from Hawkins after somehow being transported to Russia in the Season 3 finale. Now he's being held captive there, and what makes the whole thing worse is that no one's looking for him. To everyone in Hawkins, Chief Hopper died a hero. So does that mean he'll never find his way back to Eleven and Joyce? Thankfully, the new trailer gave us just what we were looking for. It looks like Hopper just might bust out of the Russians' joint with the help of 2 trusted old friends, Hawkins conspiracy theorist Murray Bauman and Joyce Byers. What we don't know is how they'll track Hopper down, but we do know neither of them have a history of flying airplanes, which is exactly what they're doing in the trailer. For a minute, you see the duo all layered up in winter gear, steering a biplane through some sort of turbulence. You'd think escape from a Russian gulag would call for more professional rescue, but hey, stranger things have happened on the show. Now we have the X-Men Easter egg. Stranger Things wears pop culture references on its sleeves, and Season 4 won't be any different. The showrunners have tucked away a sneaky little X-Men Easter egg in the latest trailer. For a brief moment, you can see Mike and Eddie Munson standing next to each other in a crowd, sporting Hellfire Club t-shirts. The club is a fictional society in the world of X-Men. If you can't recall hearing about the Hellfire Club in the movies, you're not alone, because this little reference is taken straight from the comic books. In fact, even the premiere episode of Season 4 is named the Hellfire Club. But Marvel heroes hold a more significant place in the Stranger Things franchise than just fun little references here and there. Their influence on the Netflix original has been pretty noticeable since Season 1. For those of you who don't remember, the very first chapter had a scene where Will and Dustin, being the true nerds that they are, discuss Uncanny X-Men number 134. Interestingly enough, that's the story which introduces Jean Grey's Dark Phoenix arc, and in many ways, Eleven's character, through the seasons, has been modeled after her, since they both share the ability to wield great, uncontrollable powers. On top of that, in one of the earlier trailers for Season 4, we saw a couple of superpowered kids very much like Eleven. Well, now we know she's not the only super kid out there. Whether she'll lead an army of superheroes remains to be seen, but wouldn't that be totally awesome? A little Avengers Assemble moment in Stranger Things. Next, is there another super kid in the gang? Speaking of an army of super kids, Eleven might not be the only one in her gang with handy-dandy powers. With Elle stuck on the sunny shores of California, Hawkins has its new Supergirl, Max Mayfield. We all were a bit skeptical about Sadie Sink's character when she featured back in Season 2. With her tomboy personality and her love for video games, we all thought she would steal Elle's spot in the gang. As it turns out, there was more than enough room for both of them in the group, and we couldn't be happier. Who doesn't love wholesome friendship friendships. Early on in the trailer, you can spot her talking at the grave of her late brother. Quick refresher, Billy died in Season 3, sacrificing himself to the Mind Flayer to protect Max and her friends. He was a pretty bad brother, but we guess he made up for it. Anyway, later we see Max herself, levitating on top of the same grave, leaving her friends in shock. There's definitely something supernatural going on, but we're not sure if it's Max herself or Billy's grave. He was, after all, possessed by the Mind Flayer. Could it be some kind of residual power from the Upside Down? Either way, one thing's for sure, Max is in for a wild ride this season. We can't wait to see her and Eleven team up. Next, the Upside Down versus the electric guitar. It gets a little hard to pin down moments through the end of the trailer because of the dizzying sequence of quick cuts, but here's what does stand out. A couple of brief shots of a lone electric guitarist. If you look closely, you can see standing on top of a mobile home trailer as fierce red lightning flashes in the background. Though you can't make out much because of the dark shot, the long-haired, leather-clad dude seems like Eddie Munson, one of the many new faces that we'll be seeing in the newest season. According to reports, Eddie runs the infamous Hellfire Club, the official Hawkins High D&D group. The dim lighting and the cold nature of the shots and the lack of an audience suggest that he may be giving one hell of a performance in the Upside Down. The scene could also be just an adrenaline booster, since there's no context of it in the trailer. Now, a first look at horror legend Robert Englund. Right at the end of the trailer, just when you think it's over, there's a blink and you'll miss shot of horror icon Robert Englund, with a pretty intense look, we might add. One of the most notable entries in the Stranger Things franchise is the supernatural killer Freddy Krueger. We last saw him stalking the dreams of his victims, only to slaughter them in rather inventive and grisly ways. The Nightmare on Elm Street star gave us the first look at Victor Creel. Although his appearance in the trailer was brief to say the least, we do know from sources that he's a patient at the Penhurst Mental Hospital, admitted for murders he committed back in the 1960s. Judging by the heavy scarring across his face and eyes, it's pretty clear time has not been kind to him, although we're not sure if his injuries are self-inflicted or a result of whatever's plaguing the Creel house. We're super excited to see a creepy new story feature in Stranger Things, with Englund playing an equally creepy new character. And that about wraps up our video for today, folks. Which of the Stranger Things 4 details did you miss out on? Did we leave any of the Easter eggs out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.